I mean, look, I think, you know, the X-Men, we want the X-Men to feel and reflect a global effort, right? As opposed to just either North American actors or European actors, it was important to us that we reflect the world. And also what has been, I think, the cornerstone of the casting of X-Men, and Lauren Shuler-Donner and Bryan Singer deserve a lot of credit for this, have been always casting superb actors. I think it's the best cast I think I've ever seen in a film, any film. And that's a credit to a sort of diligence for making sure that we bring people to these complex characters who can realize that on screen. He's done a really great job. I think Brian's been a gifted, you know, he came onto the scene as a gifted filmmaker, but he's evolved and matured as any artist would hope to, and I think you see that reflected in the film, right? So he's always had a remarkable instinct for these characters and for this world. But in addition, he's evolved as a storyteller both visually and I think on all levels. And it's part of what made him the right fit for what is the most ambitious story that we've ever tackled.
Well, the luxury of making this movie is as sort of impossible as it is to imagine a story of this scope and scale. It exists in the comic book. So I took my lead in every way, emotionally, narratively, from the original books. And there's such an incredible blueprint there. That was really, you know, the greatest leaping off point. And more, it was about how to be loyal to that, and yet also make a coherent 2-hour movie. Yeah, I mean, this movie premiere is the most surreal experience of my life, and one of the most surreal things, period, I've gone to. I mean, the only thing that really competes with this is I went to the Oscars one year to root on a friend, and I went to the Super Bowl this year. Those are the only things that come close to what I'm seeing here tonight. So the fact that I am in any way responsible for this movie is not an easy thing for me to wrap my head around.
It was a meeting. It was my team. They were very secretive about it. They didn't tell me anything until, you know, we had a meeting, and all of a sudden, oh, by the way, you got the part. What? It was amazing. I was screaming and jumping, but I kept it inside. And then comes a real responsibility, you know, after having auditions or reading for something is one thing, but when you get the part, it's a whole nother ballgame, you know. It's a blessing. These guys, yeah, I've looked up to these guys all my life. Even before I knew I was going to be an actor, you know, I stumbled into it because I love it. And you know, first day of work, being thrown in a scene with these huge guys, it really is a blessing. I'm very fortunate. Yeah.
Did you nerd?
Yeah. God, so many experiences I have. Yeah. Again, there's just so much you can learn from them. I just sort of kept quiet for a bit, you know, observed. And then we had coffee, you know, enjoyed some breakfast together, and I got to know them. They're gentlemen, you know, great people.
You know, I think it was a couple of things. I think First Class was good, and so they see that we're back on the right track. I think the Wolverine was better than that other movie that we made about him, which we won't mention, and so that helps, you know. And this huge cast, everybody. There's somebody to appeal to everybody. It is I mean, these are all the greatest actors working today. Well, we kind of gave it a motor. You know, we have to go back in the past in order to save the future. So we have to follow that urgency and that motor, and that's how we did it. We also follow the evolution of Charles and Eric and their relationship, and the evolution of Charles himself being a different person than you ever expected him to be at one point, and growing into who we know is Patrick Stewart, the Charles we know. I don't know. No, we will, you know, just think about the characters. What would their conflicts be? How can we move them forward? That's how we do it. Yeah.
Oh, when did I find out? I think it was sometime in late May or early June of 2013. And it was an exciting phone call to get, obviously. Yeah. Oh, I got to be a pro in this situation. Yeah. No, it's really kind of difficult. All you can do is kind of pass your accolades along and say how much you appreciate people's work, because to not say it, why wouldn't you say it? You know, everybody likes getting a compliment, and they're incredible people that work on that, from the producers to the directors to the crew, and you get to be a part of something like this. It's just wild.
A little bit.
It was first. The first reaction was the X-Men fan reaction. I was screaming,
and I was so happy. And then I started to realize we're gonna be with Bryan Singer, all the cast. So I became to be a little bit nervous. We trying with shooting with real gun because the gun is all the gun we shot is a special effect. So I tried to have the real sense of shooting guns. It's very new for me, stuff like that. And I tried to be a little more stronger.
Yeah, I mean, as an actor, you're kind of selfish in the ways that you want to try to explore the character and work with as many talented people as you can. But I mean, for me, I got to have a blast and work with some great actors and great people, and the character of Colossus gets to really shine a little bit and show what he'll sacrifice for his fellow mutant. Well, I think it's been written so that everyone has an X-Men. Everyone has someone that they relate to, so everyone can get on board. It's not really specific per generation, whether it's for guys or girls or whatnot. Everyone has something that they identify with, and so it resonates with them and hits home. And just the way that, I mean, Brian's starting it off with X2 and X1 and now this, and Fox has done an amazing job with transferring what's in the comic book onto the screen, and that is not always an easy thing to do. And I find that they've transitioned from that medium to film beautifully, and it's resonated well with fans. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh my God, no, I was like crying. Like, it was amazing. But the next thing I did was they didn't tell me what character they were going to have me play, so I had no idea. So I would go in my bathroom and be like, I didn't know what kind of power I was going to have. So I was like practicing all these different moves, I guess, that I thought X-Men moves. I don't know. Then I come to find out that I don't have any moves like that, so I spin knives. Yeah. It all came down to, like, I think every movie comes down to, like, the pre-production. And they had everything planned out so perfectly, and the script so, like, well organized, and everything was so descriptive, and you knew exactly where you were when you were reading it. So really, when we got to set, we just had to execute what was on paper, which is not an easy task, but,
Were there any fanboy moments when you were like, I'm in numbers with tactics too?
oh my God, every day. Like, with Hugh Jackman, I remember he came and, like, put his arm on me and was like, hey, buddy. And I was like, oh my God. Hugh Jackman touched my shoulder. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty cool. I don't know. Yes, I have. Twilight. Twilight was huge also. And these fans are huge, but in a different way. So, I mean, it's all, I don't know. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous to relive it because of Twilight. And I don't know. It's amazing being here. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Really interesting. I mean, they're some of the best actors from all around the world. So it's an incredible privilege. You got Fassbender, McAvoy. You got Hugh, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen. You've got, the list just goes on and on. Dinklage, who I was fortunate enough to work with a lot. It's just a beautiful learning curve, and I was proud to be a part of it. Great fun, yeah. In fact, the pressure was off on me in a sense that, I really get to, as Stryker, just kind of observe the events that are unfolding, and working with Trask so heavily was great for me because, my experience as an actor approaching this was very similar to, I think, Stryker's role in the film, whereas he's just kind of sitting behind someone who's clearly more experienced, and he just gets to learn as much as he can and really just shut his mouth and take it all in, and that's what I try to do. You know what? I think that everyone can relate to the idea of being an outsider, being a mutant, to use their terms, and I think that what Brian did in setting up the original couple of films was to really ground it in an emotional resonance, and I think that that's really what you need to make films like this work. They don't work unless they're grounded in real kind of human behavior and human emotions, and that's a real kind of gut punch that he brings to it. And I think that as long as that stays in there, I think people will keep coming back, and I certainly will as well.
Yeah, well, I one thing about this whole movie franchise universe, whatever you want to call it, is I've been so I've been so lucky to be a part of it, but it's such a special thing. I don't, nothing lasts as 14 years anymore, and to see this formula that really worked with this great cast, and good people, and great material, and these characters that are so rich, be brought to the screen and work and then you go to X-Men First Class, and you have a whole new group of people come in and breathe new life into the younger characters, and phenomenal talent like Michael and James and Jennifer, and then have those two worlds merge is like, it's almost, you know, it's ridiculous, and I'm excited as a fan to see the movie. You know, so.
No, that is not correct.
I will run.